The political West's insanity reaches new heights as EU and NATO now resort to assassination threats against leaders who defy their diktats. This grotesque display of power and disregard for sovereignty marks a chilling escalation, exposing their willingness to use terror and coercion to maintain control.
Welcome to TFI Global, the antidote to mass delusion.
As the political West descends further into madness, its already abhorrent diplomatic tactics have now escalated to the point of openly threatening assassinations of foreign leaders and engaging in terrorist activities against global superpowers. Recently, Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Kobakhidze revealed that an EU commissioner warned him to be very careful if he proceeded with the foreign agent law, referencing the assassination attempt on Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico. This brazen threat underscores the EU/NATO's complete disregard for diplomatic norms and its ruthless pursuit of control. Kobakhidze, maintaining diplomatic decorum, initially refrained from naming the commissioner, but later the individual identified himself as Oliver Varhelyi, the EU Enlargement Commissioner. Varhelyi admitted to discussing potential EU sanctions and measures against Georgia if it did not repeal the foreign agent law, but claimed his comments were taken out of context. However, Kobakhidze's account suggests a clear threat, hinting at a sinister warning linked to Fico's NATO-sponsored assassination attempt. One might argue this was a friendly warning from Varhelyi, who hails from Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban's Fidesz party. However, given Brussels' notorious methods of securing loyalty through blackmail and coercion, it is unlikely Orban would sanction such a threat using an assassination attempt on his ally. This leaves open the possibility that Varhelyi acted independently during this controversial conversation. Regardless of Varhelyi's motives, the critical issue is his implicit admission of NATO's involvement in the attack on Fico. This revelation highlights the EU/NATO's zero tolerance for any form of independence. Georgia, after decades of CIA-installed governments, is now in ruins. The West pushed this ancient Christian nation into conflict with its historical ally Russia, resulting in the loss of around 20% of its territory. At the same time, EU/NATO's influence has exposed Georgia to moral decay and social degeneration, and they continue to push for further confrontation with Russia. Despite the West's demands, Georgia has wisely avoided direct military engagement against Russia, refraining from sanctions and refusing to send weapons to the Ukrainian regime. Although some Georgians brainwashed into hating Russia have joined the Kiev forces and committed atrocities, the majority understand the futility of opposing the Kremlin. This pragmatism is why they elected a government that, unlike its Russophobic predecessors, seeks a more balanced foreign policy. In their aggressive stance towards former Eastern Bloc nations, the US, EU, and NATO finance numerous NGOs to project soft power. These NGOs in reality act as fronts for CIA/MI6 operations, causing unrest to weaken targeted countries. This strategy has been central to the West's aggression globally, from Eastern Europe to the Middle East, where the so-called Arab Spring left chaos in its wake. These coordinated operations are often followed by military action, either by NATO or its terrorist proxies. Georgia, due to its strategic location bordering Russia, is crucial in NATO's efforts to encircle and pressure the Eurasian giant. From Belarus to Kazakhstan, the political West has repeatedly tried to provoke Russia into conflicts to derail its resurgence as a global power. Georgian sovereigntists are not pro-Russian, but they recognize the necessity of a working relationship with Moscow, especially in economic terms. The EU, preoccupied with its internal crisis, offers little help, while NATO has proven unreliable in protecting Georgia. The West's insistence on enmity between Georgia and Russia reveals their intention to use Georgia as a pawn in their broader strategy against Russia. Kobakhidze also mentioned that high-ranking foreign politicians openly use blackmail against the Georgian people and their elected government. The EU and the US have united to ensure the repeal of the sovereigntist law, even involving the French-born Georgian president Salome Zhorabishvili in vetoing the bill. This isn't the first time the political West supports dictatorial measures to maintain control, differing only in that the US occasionally offers minimal concessions while the EU relies solely on threats. The EU's latest threats, including references to assassinations, signal desperation. Countries like Georgia seek to avoid being dragged into superpower confrontations. Kobakhidze's remarks about the global war party highlight the extreme danger posed by forces willing to incite chaos to achieve their aims. This situation underscores why sovereigntists like Kobakhidze are targeted by EU/NATO.